You're watching the #1 source for insight into the economy, stocks, cryptocurrencies, and revolutionary trends. From sea to shining sea and across the globe, this is the Cody Willard Show. Brought to you by TradingWithCody.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cody Willard Show. I am Cody Willard. I'll have Ross the Boss hitting with us later. Up first, Chris McHugh, my executive producer and confidant. How's
What's
things,
going on,
bro?
Cody?
I'm hustling.
Our country, hustling. While our country is being torn apart by these Kavanaugh hearings, I mean, come on. Will Brett Kavanaugh finally heal our country when he's appointed, Cody?
That's funny phrasing. I'm ashamed. I mean, you guys know I am as cynical and skeptical and anti-Republican Democrat regime as anybody can possibly be. But I'm ashamed, appalled, and astounded, alliteratively speaking, to look and see how this confirmation and this whole Supreme Court passion has become nothing but partisan fervor. There's no sense of what's right. I mean, every time I go anywhere, some Democrat or some Republican is going to tell me that they can't believe what the Republicans or the Democrats, the other side, are doing in this confirmation hearing. And it's both, as always, guys. It's both. The Republicans and the Democrats, it is a circus. They're all in cahoots. They're doing this together.
Shoot. I just hit the wrong button. Here, I'll restart. Cody, how outrageous is it, though, compared to Clarence Thomas affair? 1 to 10, Clarence Thomas, and 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, this.
No, Chris, I was a little kid during the Clarence Thomas thing. So I certainly didn't have the perspective and the cynicism that I have now. So I don't know that I can speak to how different it is, but except for the fact that it seems more shameless, outright explicit in its partisan gamesmanship and the fraudulence of it all. And, you know, look, if you are a Republican and you really have some sort of passion and you think that some Republican insider, Kavanaugh, who is clearly a lifelong, a career-long Republican insider, if you think it is in your moralities and in your country's moral and ethical best interest to have what he says he stands for, even if you feel like that, slow down. Again, the Democrats are not doing this right either. They're ridiculous in how they've done this whole partisan gamesmanship. But we do need to slow down. I'm in no rush to get the next Supreme Court justice in there, especially if he is explicitly partisan and if the system is explicitly partisan and it just doesn't care. Chris, they don't care about anything but the game and the show.
Cody says, slow down. You move too fast. You need to let the morning last. Confirmation hearing. What's the thing that you were most
Street
shocked?
Bridge song, Simon and Garfunkel, seen them perform it live at Madison Square Garden.
Very nice.
One of my favorite Simon and Garfunkel songs.
So I was going to ask you, what were you most shocked about the whole process from the Dem side and from the GOP side? Let's recall those vivid memories you have from days gone by.
Let me just call the single most. I'll point out that it was the Republican side that appalled me and shocked me the most, and that was when the senators, the people who have been elected to represent supposedly the Republican Party perspective and platform, didn't have the guts to address Miss Ford, when she gave her testimony. And that's what shocked me the most, was that they subjugated their responsibility to a so-called prosecutor who, again, like if she came in there, if the prosecutor came in there under the Republican banner, you know that she's part of the Republican Democrat whole gang thing too. So that was just pointless. But I can't believe that they didn't have the backbone to address someone with these kinds of serious allegations when it is the Supreme Court justice that's on the line. And God, the Democrats make me just as sick, people. So I'm not going to I don't want anyone to confuse me with somehow saying the Democrats have done this job better. But that outright, the prosecutor and not having the backbone, the senators, the Republican side not having the backbone to address her directly was just mind blowing.
What do you think the Democrats advocated for her though pretty well throughout this?
No, I mean and look, I don't know Miss Ford. I can't speak to her motivations. I can't speak to any of the story inside. But the FBI. Here's one thing that does confuse me again. Trump and the Republicans have been saying the FBI is a sham, and then they explicitly assigned the FBI to do a sham investigation of this thing. And somehow now we're supposed to think that's going to be a credible report from the FBI. It's all a sham. And the Democrats have been shamefully shameful themselves.
There were two things that really stuck out in my mind, these moments where I just can't get out of my head. One was Kavanaugh defending himself and talking about his daughter talking to him, and she's going to pray for that woman. And then Lindsey Graham, I thought, love him or hate him, the guy was on fire. I mean, you couldn't have staged that better for a movie. That really stood out. And so if you're someone who's erring on the side of this guy is an innocent man, those two moments were quite extraordinary.
I did not pay that close of attention. I don't know what Lindsey Graham, the Republican Democrat lifelong regimer, shameful politician, said or did, but it would have made me sick, whatever it is. Chris, let's change to another topic that makes me sick to my stomach. Could we?
Yes. Hold on. There's like 15 here. Everything's been giving you stomach aches recently. So he's doubled over. Oh, we're going to talk about this now, too.
If we're talking politics, it's going to make me sick.
Facebook hack, man. Facebook hack, man. It's the biggest security break in Facebook history, basically. It's not, and it's going to get a lot worse, Cody, before it gets better. And dare I say, this is just the tip of the Zuckerberg?
Punny, well done. I don't have my phone sitting here. There it is down there. Let me grab it. I'll show you guys something. If I go to Facebook here, it does not let me in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Session expired. Please log in. And I'm taking that literal. I have not logged back in. Apparently, my account was one of the ones that was hacked in this Facebook thing, and I've never done the view as thing that apparently the hackers use to get into these accounts. So Facebook allowed my account to get hacked, and that can happen. Look, it's amazing, frankly, that knock on wood, Google and Apple and Amazon and so many others have not had this hacking problem. But one of the things that's really made me mad about all of this as a Facebook user, and I quit consuming content on Facebook months ago because I've talked about that on here. There's too much gross and stuff that really, not just political, but like violent stuff on there that I don't need in my life. I don't need to see. But I was still posting it. And we're assuming that this show will be posted on Facebook to the Cody Willard Show page, but I will not be doing it, and I won't let Chris log in on my account in order to do it. We're hoping that I did share that with him before this happened, and he has full access to be able to do that. But why did Facebook's reaction to this is what's really made me mad. Facebook passively let me go in and find out. And then they're requiring me to log in order to get the message in order to do anything like cancel my Facebook account. Facebook, you guys should be emailing me the minute that this happened. I should have received
Thank
an
you,
email
Cody.
that had
Thank you for that.
in there that gave me instructions how to alter or even delete my account without them passively making me go in actively. They're the one making me actively now get back into Facebook. I don't want to log back into Facebook right now. I'm not sure if I ever will again.
Because when you make money off of people from their content, and then something bad happens, and you don't act like a human being and let them know about it, that creates problems for you in your business model. You think people will scamper away now? Do you think we'll have another one of those deals?
There's on this hand and the other hand, I know I'm personally I'm millions. There are millions of people like me right now that are just like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I mean, Facebook privacy issues were bad enough. Now hacking issue and the way they've handled it, these things matter. And I will tell you that Facebook's got 2 billion people. So 50 million people is, 2.5% or something. It's not that much. But for Twitter, which has 300 something million users, 50 million would be 20% growth. And I do think that Twitter is probably a direct beneficiary. I know I'm personally using Twitter now much more than I did 2 weeks ago. I'm posting to Twitter. I still have been consuming content on Twitter. I've never stopped consuming content on Twitter. Twitter is a better platform right now. And it doesn't have nearly as many bells as whistles or as many users. Snapchat still struggling. I do think they might benefit from this also. People might leave Instagram for Snapchat. But Chris, the final thing, I don't know that Facebook itself will really be terribly hurt by any of this, but others might benefit from it. That's for sure.
I feel, though, day by day, week by week, month by month, Facebook is sinking its hooks into me, whether it's advertising that I'm buying on the platform, or it's selling things online, or it's these groups which so many people are attached to. That's the hub for their local charity or organization or club. It runs off Facebook. And how are they going to interact with their friends and their community? Is there a good alternative? Have you seen anything?
Chris, my wife is experiencing exactly what you're describing right now. I mentioned a few weeks ago that there are virtuous things on Facebook. It's not all nefarious, spy, Russian and hacking stuff. My wife uses, we have this medically fragile daughter, Amaris, who's been diagnosed with trisomy 13, and she has a trach tube that she breathes out of, and along with the G tube. And my wife consumes the content in the community that she found on a trisomy 13 support group page and a mommies with babies with trachs, I think is the name of the page. And she has talked about feeling a little bit of withdrawal the last week or two, because after I had this happen and I started writing about not wanting to be on Facebook anymore, she made a conscious decision. I'm going to cut back. And I know she misses some of that support for that and information that she gleans from going in those Facebook pages. I think she might have to start going into them on a web page and not log in and only consume the stuff that's publicly on Facebook at like a normal web, like it's almost like AOL, right? I mean, when AOL had that closed community and you had to have an AOL account to get into it, Facebook has some of that aspect, and I'm not sure that's going to survive. Those groups are going to be increasingly open to the public, Chris.
Yeah, and it's this conversation I've had for weeks and months intensely with everybody about the virtual world versus the real world. And sometimes we need that quote-unquote virtual world, because how many parents do you have in the neighborhood who have kids that are trach babies or things like that, and you are dependent upon
Chris, that is another interesting thing you hit on right there. It's anecdotally speaking to my daughter, my experience with my daughter again. When she was diagnosed early on when my wife was pregnant that the baby had trisomy 13. All of the literature and all of the information you could get was decades or years old, and talked about the survival rate being 1 in 1,000 that could make it to birth with trisomy 13, and 1 in 100 that could make it past the first week, or might be messing those stats up, because what I learned was they were all anecdotal. They didn't have enough global information. Now with the Facebook page built, and pages, communities, several of them built around the trisomy 13 diagnosis, and parents who have children with trisomy 13, there's hundreds of these children out there, if not thousands. And the survival rate and the statistics of it all we wouldn't know any of that we would still think it was and by the way, trisomy 13 is devastating. It is very few children who are diagnosed with that do make it very long in life, if they make it to birth at all. And that being said, though, there's just more information and more community for even people that experience that. And I don't know, I'm speaking on a personal level now. I'm starting to get a little choked up. So Chris, let's go to break here and wrap this up and head over to sports next. What do you say?
Good, Cody.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back.
A former CNBC and Fox News anchor, hedge fund manager, and the go-to stock market guest for The Tonight Show, Cody Willard and his stock analysis have been published in the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, Fortune magazine, and many other places. Want to follow his secrets to investment success? Go to tradingwithcody.com. There you can get analysis on stocks, cryptos, markets, and the economy, a full list of Cody's positions, access to Cody's chat room, trade alerts every time Cody buys or sells, and much more. To find out more, go to tradingwithcody.com.
It is now time for sports with Ross the Boss. Ross, what's up?
Hey, I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk sports with you, cowboy. We have a lot of stuff going on, Cody. We have preseason basketball. We have hockey that started last night. We have baseball postseason. We even have football. Let's talk about one of my favorites. Cody, what is this? A baseball, correct? Right?
My daughter might call it a tennis ball, but
no, it's a baseball. Let's talk about postseason baseball. I'm excited. It started this week. I'm going to talk about the Colorado Rockies real quick. They played 3 games in 3 days in 3 different time zones. They lost to the Dodgers. They went to Chicago and they beat Chicago. Now they're going to Milwaukee to play Milwaukee. I'm taking that team to beat Milwaukee. I think they'll beat Milwaukee in that 5-game playoff. I know Milwaukee won their division. Doesn't matter. I'm taking the Rockies in that. The Dodgers are playing the Braves. I love the Dodgers in that series. The Braves are just happy they won their Eastern Division. That Eastern Division was a complete joke. The Dodgers have a stacked team. They have a $200 million salary on that team. I could be the GM of that team. If you give me $200 million, I can figure out a great team with that kind of money. We're taking the Dodgers. The Yankees played last night. Even though I was rooting for Oakland, the Yankees won. They're playing Boston. That's a great series. I'm excited about that series, even though I hate both teams. I'm taking Boston. I think their starting pitching's better. It can go either way, though. It's going to be a great series to watch. It will go 5 games. Trust me. 5 games, Boston, New York. The last series, I don't think anybody cares about. It's Cleveland and Houston. I know Houston's the defending world champions, but who cares? Does it really matter?
Growing up, my dad always had baseball on, but maybe I'll watch the bottom of the 9th in the Game 6 of the World Series or something. I'd much rather watch golf, for example. And growing up,
did you see how the U.S. lost in the Ryder Cup? That was embarrassing, Willard.
Yeah, I don't. Ross, someday you got to explain the Ryder Cup rules to me. None of this I don't know any of this stuff.
We have 2 hours. We have 2 hours on the show to explain that. I can do that. Ross the Boss can explain Ryder Cup. Ross the Boss can explain any sport in the world. Ross the Boss is an expert on. But I don't have the time to explain the Ryder Cup to you right now. I was embarrassed to be a U.S. citizen on Sunday after we just got destroyed by Europe in the Ryder Cup. But let's talk about
Who's the guys that are talking back and forth? And one of them, like he seemed like a very nice guy, and he's trashing Jordan Spieth or something. What's the story there, Ross?
I don't know. I think that those announcers, when you're announcing golf, you have nothing to talk about. You know, I mean, it's probably one of the hardest jobs because you got to talk about a sport where, in all seriousness, the action is very limited, right? I know you're an avid golfer, Cody. I know you're one of the best in New Mexico. I get it. But what I'm saying is, if I'm an announcer for golf, it's not like announcing college basketball like Dick Vitale, yelling and screaming. You know, you can't do that kind of stuff. There you are with golf club. I know you're one of the best in New Mexico. I see the ratings. You're on it. I get it. Stop.
So
baseball.
Ross, keep going. What's your next topic?
Real quick. Baseball, really quickly. I'm excited about postseason. It's going to start.
It's World Series. What's the prediction?
World Series, I know people are saying Boston right now. People love Boston. I like Boston. I don't love Boston as much as I don't want to admit it, but I have to. I said the Dodgers in February. I just think losing last year in Game 7, I think this year they'll win in Game 6 in the World Series. I think it's their year. I'm not a Dodger fan. Please don't say you're saying that because you live in LA. I'm not a Dodger fan. Trust me.
You know, Ross, I obviously don't follow baseball much like I used to, but yeah, Puig is a hell of a player, and Los Angeles. I think you're right. If I had to bet on one team, it'd probably be on the Dodgers to win the World Series. What's your next topic, sir?
Let's talk about football, Cody. You know, Cody, the football season is 25% done. In fantasy football, I'm 4-0. How about that, Willard?
Shocker.
Can you say that?
Shocker.
No.
Who are you playing against? Your dogs?
What?
Are you playing against your dogs and your ponies?
No, I'm playing against one of the best players in the world here. But what I'm saying is this: football season. So my power ratings, the Rams right now, I think is the best team. Okay, the Rams, hands down, to me, is the number one team in NFL football right now. Number 2, Kansas City. I don't know if you watched the game on Monday, but this Patrick Mahomes, second year player, first year starter for Kansas City. This guy's unbelievable. I mean, in all seriousness, he has a great receiving core, a great running back that can run the ball. His defense is suspect, but doesn't matter. This guy is throwing with his left hand. He's running around. He's ditching defense.
Is he as elite as Joe Flacco? Joke.
That's funny. No, if I had to compare him to somebody because he's so like athletic on the field, is Brett Favre. I know Brett Favre.
Cunningham. How about Randall Cunningham?
Randall Cunningham was tall and lanky, but Randall was great. I love Randall Cunningham. But Brett Favre was like they're same height. They looked like the same build, kind of. And Brett Favre is more current than Randall Cunningham. He played back, I think, in the 80s. UNLV he went to, actually. I love Randall Cunningham. Nothing against Randall Cunningham.
If I take the Eagles in Super Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo, 1991 version, I'll pretty much every time win because I take Randall Cunningham. If you try to cover my receivers, I run for 40 yards. If you try to tackle Randall, you leave someone wide open. He goes 80 yards for the touchdown. It's amazing. I think I had 1,400 yards in one game once with Randall Cunningham.
With this Patrick Mahomes, he's throwing numbers like you're playing techno football. I don't think he has an interception this year. He's leading the league in touchdowns. He's up there with yards. This kid's unbelievable, and he's groomed. I mean, they groomed this kid perfectly. He didn't play last year. He sat behind Alex Smith. He watched. He observed. They didn't rush him in there. This year, they got rid of Alex Smith, Kansas City. Now they can start this kid. He's 4-0. Alex Reed looks like a genius.
They have done a great job of putting these incredible, almost like eccentric looking weapons around him. I mean, Tyreek Hill does not look like your average superstar wide receiver. And that guy, he's as exciting as Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill is my favorite receiver in the league. He's one of the fastest guys in the league, but he has great hands. They also have the highest paid receiver in the league in Sammy Watkins. You know, he makes $21 million a year. He makes more money than Beckham. He makes more money than Julio Jones. They paying this guy $21 million a year, and he's like the third or fourth receiver on Kansas City. They have so many weapons, So they have Kelsey, the tight end. They have Hunt, the running back. They're just loaded, Kansas City. I love Kansas City this year. The problem with Kansas City is their defense. Their defense is killing them. I know they're hurt.
Are the Browns going to make the playoffs?
No, the Browns will be, like you said, maybe 8-8. Well, now they tied a game, so they can be 7-8-1 or 8-1, 8-7-1. The Browns, I like their team. I like their coach because I watched them on HBO, but I'm sorry, but they're not going to make the playoffs this year. To finish the power ratings, the Jaguars, I like them a lot this year. Their defense is good. Bortles looks good this year. He's up and down, but I like the Jaguars.
I think the Jags are overrated.
Really? I think their defense is pretty good, Cody Willard. And my fourth favorite team, I picked this team to win the Super Bowl is the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints, I know they had a tough time with their defense the first couple of games, but they fixed it. Drew Brees he just broke the record for the most completions of any quarterback in the NFL history. I mean, this guy is the real deal.
He's from setting the record for the most yards in NFL history, and he's doing it like he's had more 5,000-yard seasons. He's had 5 of them. No one else has had more than one, and he set it again last year. He did it and had he also set the record for the highest percentage completion.
I don't think age. I know he's not 40 yet. I think he's 38. Age is not bugging this guy. The Saints have a great running back and Kamari. They're the team. They're we're 4th rated highest power team right now in the NFL. I like them a lot this year. I thought 18-1 you could have got them to win the Super Bowl. I made the bet. I told everybody to make the bet. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about hockey. It started last night. The first few games were last night. I don't know if you saw it, Willard, but the Washington Capitals, who won the Stanley Cup last year, they played the Boston Bruins. The Capitals won 7-0. I don't think Boston even showed up to the game.
I've been to a few hockey games in real life back east, but I've met some Canadian friends at a bar before to watch hockey.
Let's talk about my picks for this weekend. I got some great picks. I'm just going to pick games. The national TV games I'm picking. I'm 73% right now picking football games. The first game I like is Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech. I know Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion. Cody, quiz question. What state is Old Dominion in? Tell me. Go.
Old Dominion or Old Dominion?
Old Dominion, excuse me.
Old Dominion.
What state?
I get a point for correcting the pronunciation.
Get a point for that. Fine. It's early.
I'll go with Virginia.
It's in Virginia. You're correct. They're known for basketball. They beat Virginia Tech in football at Virginia Tech by like 14 points, which is unbelievable. Think about it. They're like a small little school in Virginia, not known for football. They were good in women's basketball years ago. I don't know if you remember that. I think Nancy Lieberman was on the team or something.
Did you notice? It'd be sort of like, for example, UNM losing to Liberty. Oh wait, I think they did last week.
I think they did. So Notre Dame is going into Virginia Tech. They're going into Hokie country. I'm taking the Hokies. I'll take the 7 points. I think they'll bounce back. I don't know if they could beat Notre Dame, but they'll cover the spread of 7 points. That's a big game for them.
I like that one.
So we're taking that. I'm taking the University of New Mexico. They're playing UNLV. I'm taking the 9 points, Cody. I like New Mexico. I had a lot of friends that are Lobos. We're taking New Mexico in that game.
They're bouncing back from the Liberty loss?
Yes, we're taking the Lobos. How about that, Willard? The other game I like, take Stanford minus the 5 against Utah. Stanford's at home. I think they're heating up right now. They'll cover the spread. They'll beat Utah bad. Utah's a little overrated. The Sunday night game in NFL, Dallas versus Houston. I'm taking Houston's at home. We're giving the 3 points. I like J.J. Watt. I like their quarterback, Watson. We'll see what happens. I don't think Dallas is
playing terrible on the flip side of that. Houston finally looked like a team last week, and Dallas still looks like they've got a junior college quarterback behind center or something.
Well, they do.
Dak is not playing.
But what I'm saying is, the thing about Dallas is they won the last week against Detroit at home. It's a 3-point spread. We're taking Houston. I like Houston at home.
I like that bet too.
The game of the week this Sunday is Jacksonville, the team you think's underrated. They're playing Kansas City. Kansas City's -3. I'm taking Kansas City.
Oh my God! I would take If Kansas City was minus 13, I would still take them. They will blow Jacksonville out.
Let's hear that, listeners. Bet Kansas City. Bet the house on it. Willard likes it. Ross
Bet
the
a
boss
Bitcoin.
likes it.
Wait, no,
What?
don't. Well, actually, yeah. If you have a Bitcoin, I bet betting it on a good football game right now is probably better than holding a Bitcoin at this very moment.
There you go. Now you're smart. Now the Monday night game, Washington Redskins are at New Orleans. I like the Saints at home giving 7 points. I know Washington had a bye week last week, but you know what? The Saints offense is just so potent and strong. I say they win by at least 14 points. It should be a mercy game on Monday night. We'll see what happens.
I usually like to have a lot more disagreements with your picks, but I got to say, I don't know if that's a good sign that we're the crowd betting together now, Ross, but I liked everything you said today. I would take them all across the board.
No, you didn't like New Mexico. You said New Mexico. Didn't like did you like New Mexico? I didn't hear what you said.
I said maybe they'll bounce back after the Liberty loss.
Yeah. Like New Mexico +9. We'll take it. So, I'm excited for sports this weekend. We got a lot to watch. We got hockey. We got baseball. We got football. We got preseason
this weekend.
What?
Is there any golf this weekend? I just took up golf about 6 months ago, Ross. I'm getting better all the time.
October golf, it's nothing great. The Ryder Cup's over. Golf season starts again in February. There's some few tournaments there. I know you're excited about the pay-per-view event, Mickelson versus Woods. I know you're excited about that. That's November in Vegas. I'll try to get you tickets, Willard. But what I'm saying is that's the only nothing else is really going on in golf.
I can't think of much worse than going to a live golf event. I mean,
it's so bad.
Oh my God, being in those crowds. I don't like crowds at all anyway. But if you're going to go golf or around golf, like part of the experience is the quiet and the serenity. I can't fathom it.
It's like you're in one spot. So you either watch them tee off or you watch them putt, and 90% of the golfers that walk through the hole you're at, you have no idea who they are. It's the most boringest thing I've ever been to in my life. I went to the management waste one in Phoenix. I even had VIP passes.
That was actually supposed to be the most wild and fun one.
It's boring, Cody. It was a bunch of drunks. It was people yelling, screaming. I'd rather watch it on TV with you in your 80-inch TV at your house or 90-inch TV, whatever you have in the mansion in New Mexico you have. But you know what? It's watching golf. You got to watch it on TV. You can't watch it live.
Ross, I have a 110-inch projector right here that I use to watch CNBC or Fox Business or
thank God, watching the news and 110-inch projectors that's really great.
It also does my Apple TV. I can work up there on that screen, and frankly, I bet it's not on maybe 10 hours a week. Sometimes for Xbox Golf with my buddy Rod. Hey, Ross,
I love Rod.
Boss. Thanks.
Rod's a good man. I love Rod. He's good.
Everybody loves Rod. Everybody loves Ross the Boss.
I'm Ross the Boss. I love talking sports with you. I'll see you guys next week.
And that's another episode of the Cody Willard Show. Thanks, everybody. Peace, love, and happiness.